Happy lunch hour, guys. Okay, so as y'all know, I've been working out here on my garden trying to get rid of all the wood and put in blocks. And I wanted to show you something because, I know there's a lot of people that are new to gardening, and then a lot of people asking questions about what they can do with their soil and everything like that. Now, I know a lot of you were probably expecting me to do a video on January's inflation numbers, and of course the fact that they came out at 7.5%. So, gee, guys, yes, the prices are still going up, which was kind of funny. And I loved the one email I got from somebody saying Native Voice had done a video today that Biden is now declaring victory over COVID. Gee, called that one. God, the lunacy just, it never stops. But I wanted to give us a let's a solution video rather than a talk about the problem one. All right. Now, what I'm going to show you is probably controversial. All right, most certainly within the gardening industry, but the gardening hobby, because a lot of people, everybody, let's put it this way, everybody thinks their way is the only way. And as I've said a million times before, there is no one size fits all. Okay, and that pertains to any part of somebody's life, and garden's one of them. Now, no offense to Charles Dowding or anybody who practices no dig or anything like that. It works in some places, it doesn't work in others. And I want to show you why here. So let me walk over here. And this is kind of fun because now the sun's behind me to show this. I'm going to try to do this if I can get somewhat low. Now let me flip the camera over. Okay, so this is where I've been digging out. And there, that's right about there. There's the cross section of what I've got in the way of my garden right now. And this is now about a year and a half old that I've had this garden in here. All right. And you guys, those of you that have followed me long enough, know that I practice layered gardening. But this is why, at least for me, no dig does not work. So if you look on the very bottom, you will see the native soil. Okay, and you can see it's pretty much red clay. That's what we get. Then if I get above here, say where this color is, this is going to be cow manure, etc., that sort of stuff. Then, and that's not really the greatest spot to see, but then right in here, this is in where there's horse manure, and all this black right here, this is compost that's all been decomposed grass clippings. And then on top, now you have more horse manure. And you'll see, and trust me, when I was digging all this out, there were tons and tons and worms. That was good. All right. Obviously I want the worms, so that means I've got good organic material in my garden. But the problem that you have with that, without tilling it all together, is you get layers like that. All right. So, people say, oh, well, you just keep building and building and building and the worms will eventually do it. Well, yeah, okay. The worms may eventually move that organic material down into that native soil by the time my daughter inherits this land, and then she's growing on it. Okay, but for the next 30 some odd years or whatever, I need to be getting food out of this garden. So no dig works, but you have to have good soil to start, and I don't. So you think about it, it's like, oh, you can just plant in that. All right, now what I just showed you is maybe about 4 inches deep. Okay, maybe 5, depending on where. And I'm going to turn this over, okay, until I get into the clay. Think of when you were a kid eating those gobstopper candies. You know, you'd suck on it and it'd be red. And you'd suck on it for a little bit and then it'd be blue. You suck on it for a little bit and then it'd be green. Then it'd be orange or whatever color. You know, it kept changing color. And if there was one of those flavors that you didn't like, that was the end of the gobstopper for you. Well, roots to a plant are the same thing. You know, think of being your little seedling that you put in the ground. And it goes, oh, look at this, all this nice rich compost. Ooh, this is great. And it goes down a little further and goes, oh, look at this next flavor. You know, oh, this is all manure. And then it goes, oh, look at the, oh, crap, this is clay. That's what you get, all right? Sure, my soil is going to be good on top unless I mix all this together, but it's not going to be good for good, strong, deep roots. Forget growing significant root vegetables in here. Carrots, you'll get little stumpy carrots about this far. They're just not going to make it through any further. Okay, they might get a little bit, but that's when you start getting those curved carrots. They're not going to get into it. Or parsnips or turnips or anything like that. In parts of this garden last year, I got great potatoes on the side behind me, where the soil is a lot deeper, because I'm on a slope here, okay, where the soil was a lot deeper in good soil than over here. This side I did not get much in the way of good potatoes because of all that clay, and the potatoes aren't going to bust it up. So in my case, what this is going to be is using a broad fork. And if you guys know what a broad fork is, it's a huge pitchforky type thing that literally you stand on. It'll go about a foot deep, and then you can bend it back and break up the soil. So I'm going to be going into that on this side of the garden because I need to break up this clay. Because no matter how good and rich and well draining and nutrient dense that topsoil is, once those roots get to the clay, forget it, they're done. Okay, and they're not going to go any further. You're not going to get a solid, strong plant. So, you know, take a look at this. You can't just, again, this is a million times I've said this, you can't just stick a plant in the ground and it's going to grow. It doesn't work that way. The foundation, the basis of what you have is your soil. You are 10 times, 100 times better off spending more money getting your soil built up than buying fertilizers or anything like that. All right. If you don't have good soil, which most of us don't, okay, you're going to need to go buy a truckload of compost or whatever. And I know everybody chokes at it, goes, oh my God, $50, $100 or whatever it would be. Look what you're spending on fertilizer. Fertilizing crap soil gives you fertilized crap soil. Okay, you need to have the good soil. But I wanted to show you this firsthand as to how the layers of soil do. And the worms would eventually do this. Okay, if I keep piling on organic matter, I'm going to get it. If I keep piling on organic matter, sure, eventually there's going to be enough compost in there that's going to give me a great base. But that clay on the bottom isn't going to do anything. And now what I've built is a 6-foot-high bed or whatever. So, you know, depending on what you want. Trust me, to create soil, back to Eden gardening, no-dig gardening, all that sort of stuff, does work, no question. It just depends on what you're starting with. And it doesn't work for everybody everywhere. The soil for Doubting in Washington State is totally different than the soil for me in Tennessee. And you can imagine the soil here in Tennessee is completely different than the soil I had in Las Vegas. So, you know, learning experiences. But this is what everybody has to deal with. Make sure that you work your soil first. Spend the money there. Your plants will love it. Have a good one. Pinball out.